Welcome to episode 15 of this Let's Play series. My name is Daz Tactic. Welcome to the channel. I hope you've been enjoying the series so far. And I've sort of let it run for a little bit of time, not very much time. We're actually now through into the medium spaceport prefabrication research, which means that we are in a position to actually really upgrade our ships in a massive way. But I just want to get a few little things out of the way. I've just been clearing out. I've got ships sort of like the second fleet is going over here to go and pick on the Gravelixes, which are over this side. We've got a lot of escorts, which we really do need to ramp up. By the way, I'll apologise in advance for any sort of construction noise you're hearing. We've got some workmen here today, and it's going to mean that probably for the next few episodes it's going to have a lot of drilling and hammering and stuff like that going on, so I'll just try to work my way in around those. We've got a lot of these Actarian Ascendancy ships. I hope it's not too loud. I'm just worried about how loud that's going to all be with the workmen. I've really got to make the best of the time that I actually have with this game at the moment, because it will be expiring within a short period of time. So we've got Actarian Ascendancy there, and we're trying to actually, I'm a bit worried about them. If we have a bit of a look at this, they're over here. Now they're already expanding all the way into this side, so they're actually a lot further in than what I'm really comfortable with them to be. They also have, I think it's in around here, they've actually picked up, I don't know where it is, Centavia fluid? Is it this one here? Yeah, they've actually got Centavia fluid here. And so this is in their, is it their home? Yeah, this is their home system. So they've got an incredible head start this way, which is a long way away from where we are. We just need to keep on sort of checking out where things actually are. In fact, if we have a quick look at this, just go to the exploration ships, we can then sort of see we have explored most of this. We don't have any way. I've just turned off, by the way, the location badges. I'm finding it a little bit easier to sort of see what's going on by not having them turned on at the moment. So I've just got them off. So yeah, we're not seeing, like, that way nothing's really being covered. There's a few things I haven't shown you yet in the game as well. Like there's things, for example, like if we wanted to, like I'm trying to sort of find the targets where I'm concerned in around the actual, in around where we are. Now I can turn back on the badges, and if I just go to basic, we can see that there's a potential problem over here with the little lightning bolt, that red lightning bolt. There will be others as well. Anyway, the easiest way to do this, rather than actually do this, I will just go back and turn those off, just because it covers up so much of the actual screen. If I go to my military screen and then just click on this dangerous locations, I can then go and highlight where they all are. So this was last seen 2 months ago, and I do actually have a 5th fleet which is coming in to attack whatever that is. We've got the Avu system, and I've got the 2nd fleet, this one here, going in to investigate that and get rid of the Gravelixes. Erd Mandrel 2 is last seen a year ago. Now this has been no fleet available to investigate this location. Must have fuel and engagement range and adequate space attack strength. I love this aspect, actually, which means that it's just not available to us until maybe this one here finishes, and then we can send it off on its way. We've got Quark 2, so last seen over a year ago. Yeah, sorry about the drilling. This is going to be driving me nuts, let alone you guys. Q threat investigation, so I can just queue it up. We do actually have another fleet which I'm sending in down this way, but anyway, this is quite a cool little screen to just sort of get rid of the threats around space, which is quite nice. There's a whole lot of little extra things like enemy targets. What do we want to be targeting if we want to sort of go and become a bit more aggressive? We've got all these different options available to us. Monitoring locations. This isn't working properly from what I can tell. I've been trying to build monitoring stations the whole game and don't even have one of them. I've purposely tried to build one in here now. I think over in here. So I've tried to sort of queue up a monitoring station to be built. Was it there or here? Yeah, the monitoring station. I'll see if it works. They've been trying to build them inside, like these are the potential locations. You'll see that they're actually inside enemy territory. Where they've identified where they think that they would be good. So these are all outside of our territory. That may be why they don't build them. I don't know. I think if we were at war, they would build them, but I'm just not sure. We'll see what happens if it's actually inside our own territory to see how that one actually does work. All right, so that's those. Then we've got monitoring stations, defense bases. We don't have any of those yet. We can't build them just yet, but we will get there soon. In fact, I'll probably start to get those reasonably quickly, depending on how far. I would love to get that Centavia fluid. I would love to take this system, but it's a long way off. If we have a quick look at the Caslon resources, for example, if we just go to all resources, and then just go through and see if I start to hover over things and click on them, we're not even seeing it there, even though we know about it. Caribbean Spice, I'm not exactly sure where that actually is. Anyway, let's just go down to fuel. So Caslon is essentially only through here that we know about. So they're the only locations. I do need to find out. I need to find more Caslon back out through this area. I don't know if we've actually, we have certainly covered this region of space, but I would like to find more. So we probably haven't really got enough. I need to get more ships to go and sort of search this area. Anyway, we'll just leave that one, fuel and construction. So I'll just leave that one where that is, and then we'll just turn that one off. So we do need to find a way of getting out to this location, and which means we are going to need to have a fuel center somewhere in through there. So let's just turn that off for a second. It's quite cool the way that the game is designed to work with all of these different screens sort of meaning things, like the exploration. We don't have exploration out here. This is probably a good chance for us to actually then go out and explore. We don't have much in through this side either. It looks like we're just starting the exploration here, potentially. Yeah, there are probably other things in that asteroid belt there. Anyway, it's a big, long distance between Tran Mariel and then further out from there. We do have a refueler in through this side, so that's probably going to be a good thing. Let's just unclick that one now, so we'll just leave that one where that is. So we've got this attack going in. Now I've got the this fleet, the third fleet is going to be going in and bypassing that little unit there. Actually, what is that one? Starwind. Now this is the Char Dilbar Nation, and this is just a construction ship. So that's the humans. Now I'll leave the humans alone. Then we have like a base that's been built in through here, and I've actually got, this is the attack I'm going in. Research station. Let's just get rid of it. Stop the Actarians, which are very good at researching anyway, from actually working with that. This should really just be a pretty much nothing we have to really worry about too much. Just go back in. So they're still moving in. You can just grab the fleet there. This is quite handy having these at the bottom here, just where you can quickly go to the important locations or put important fleets in your empire. Now this is inside a nebula. You can just grab one ship and have a bit of a look at the speed, which is still going very, very well. Yeah, that ship may have, it looks like it's limping out. Now we should have, under attack. Let's just go and have a quick look over here, where these escorts are now just going to zip in and destroy this Gravelex. I can't see these really being damaged in any meaningful way. We've still got all sorts of different things going in. Bang, that one's gone very, very quickly. They'll now go after the other one as well. Okay, let's just go back across again and watch what happens in here as this attack goes in. It's getting dark in this nebula. Yeah, sorry about the noise. I'll be apologising a lot, I think. They've got a bit of work to do, unfortunately, as well. Yeah, these ships are coming in. God, it's hard to see them. Anyway, we'll be in fairly soon into the system, where it looks like we've got a gas giant and some sort of rocky moon around it. I'll dismiss that. That's still the same group. Been a colony of Ingaris encountered. Dismiss that one. Dismiss that as well. Come on, ships. Where are you? Here they come. Now this, here we go. So in we come. I'll just go down to the low angle, come back in and just watch these ships go in. And if we just go Shift T, and then sort of just try, sort of just follow it. Follow it in. So we'll watch this actually come in and do the damage. Then after this, we'll then start to design more ships, and that will be handy. So we're getting close. Then we'll set up for the railguns to start to hit this thing pretty hard, but this thing won't really be able to fight back. I'll assign that mission. Under attack. Yep, dismiss. So this thing is firing back, but it won't do any damage. Railguns hitting away. It's going to be gone very, very quickly. Now, are there any pods we can capture? Doesn't look like it. Let's have a bit of a look around and just see if there's any scientists. I didn't check to see if there were any scientists on this thing. It's debris. No, it looks like it was unattended. Let's go back to our normal angle. All right, so that fleet is now ready to go. So we'll just go back and select that fleet. That is the third fleet, and we can then have it go back off and hit other areas as well. This looks like the second fleet is now finishing off what it was doing. Well, I think actually what we might do is we might bring it back to Rindula, where it looks like we've now got another spaceport. Where's our world there? It's not that one. Here we go. Here we go. So we'll just send it back to refuel at the Rindula 2 spaceport. But technically, this is now actually, it's working as far as having the spaceport is concerned. We do have the station in through here as well. They're all under construction. But this will become an important sector in our empire. And we've now gotten rid of the research bases from in through this side. That will all be fine. We can, if we wanted to, start to take over various areas. We've got pretty good money. It's not too bad. Let's just pause this now and start to redesign the various ships, because we will be wanting to sort of get this under control. Now, we'll just go back across to the ship designs. Now, what's happened, just to put this into perspective, we're doing prefabrication back in through here, which will give us the medium spaceports, but just before we did this, we did go up to our reactors. And so in the reactors, we've now got the quantum exploitation, and you'll see through here, this is what we did have on all the ships, where the reactor energy output is 74. This will then take it up to quantum exploitation, will take it to 120. So as long as we have under 120 for the combination really of all the different energy uses that we have, then we can get away with one reactor rather than two. At the moment, all our ship designs need 2 reactors to make use of this fission reactor. So we'll exit the research. We will then go. One of the big changes with the game as well is there's no longer hydrogen fuel and Caslon fuel. It's just all Caslon. Caslon for the whole game, which is great. Just simplification, I think, does help. That was unnecessarily complex. Anyway, ship design in through here. I guess some of you will say, yeah, it wasn't complex. It was complex. It was unnecessarily so. Anyway, the only thing we've actually built is the heavy escort. Now, what I can do is have a bit of a look to see if I did design anything else. Now, we've called that one the heavy escort. I wish that the role would show the actual what sort of ship it was. Like, it is an escort role, but somehow we need to be able to, like, I've named it a heavy escort, but if I hadn't have named that, I wouldn't know that this was actually built from a heavy escort design. Like, it would be cool if there was a way of seeing that. And it's one of these things, I have actually put that in as a suggestion, because it means that to find out what's going on, you've then got to go to edit. You've then got to scroll down and think, okay, I've got 3 weapons in through there, and I've got 5 engine slots in through that one. So what can I actually make use of? And when I go, and I've then got to go back to the research, check what the research says, or if it had it in, I've named it heavy escort, but if it had heavy escort, and then just the actual model or class that was being used would be really, really cool. Anyway, that's not in the game at this stage. I hope it will be in the game at some point. I should point out this fleet versus fleet generator, just to sort of test your designs. I don't think that will be in the game when it's actually released. This was just purely for beta testers to be able to sort of check and sort of test fleets of ships fighting each other. Just more for actually sort of doing quick testing. I'm not sure if that will stay. I've certainly had problems with it, like where it's actually has crashed the game when I have played with this one, so I don't actually play with it. Anyway, that's all sort of going. Now, we have got 2 fission reactors over here. If we have a bit of an analysis of what's going on, you can see there that the total energy usage underneath through here Our reactor energy output is 148, which takes us out to this side and also out to this side. But the actual energy use for our weaponry is really, really short. So this is actually like it's got the output, which is this color out through here. Static usage is down through this side, which will be the same in both of these. This is actually when we're sort of just using the engines, and this is when we're in hyperdrive. So it's still, the static energy is sort of the usage that we need to be using at any point in time. And so whether we're in hyperspace or whether we're actually just sort of cruising around actually in a system. So what we actually need to have is that if we are just floating around inside a system, I should point out, I should explain how the energy works, because that's what we're going to be doing. It's complex, but it's not complex. So when you sort of see we've got like the energy collection rate, what this comes from is our energy collectors back in through there. This one collects at 75 per second. And so if we are not moving with the engines at all, if we are not moving with the weapons, we just have to have that higher than the actual static energy use. So we use 26 static energy. And static energy is used, for example, like in the engines, these static energy used is 1 per second. It means that it's always using that. It always needs that to keep it powered up. And when you start to add all these things, that one doesn't use any. Fission reactors don't use anything. The hyperdrive uses 3 per second, even when we're not using it. So all of these little numbers get added in, like fuel cells use 1. So the ship design will actually have a unique number here with the static energy use. Some of the weaponry, like we actually have it, like the iron cannon uses 1, the heavy railgun uses 3, the sentinel multi-beam defense uses 1. So these are the one thing it doesn't use it is armor, but Corvidian shields, for example, will use 4. So shielding will use a lot, but armor doesn't use anything because, of course, it doesn't have to be powered. So anything that requires any sort of power will have a requirement. Even the static energy used here for the short sensor array, it's always going to be on. So what we need is we need to be collecting energy when we're not moving using the energy collector in through there. So that's actually sort of how that one does work. But depending on the loadout, we could end up with quite a big number there. And so that's what that green bar is in through that side. The next one is the engines. So the engines have an actual usage when they get going of, so the cruise speed energy usage is 5, the top speed energy use is 7, so it's not dramatically big, but again, we have to cater for it. Now, the static energy use is, like this energy collector only comes in when the ship is stationary. When it's not stationary, we then need to make use of so it's cool to have this higher than this because the energy collection rate then means that we don't use any of our fuel while we're just sitting around in space. If this was lower than the static energy use, we'd slowly be having to prop it up by running the reactor all the time, and then that would mean that we're going through fuel. So the reactor is what uses fuel, not the engines. So the reactor is, and then the reactor then powers the engines. That's sort of how it works. In fact, the reactor powers everything, unless we have static energy use, in which case it just tops it up. But as soon as we engage the engines, the energy collector basically turns itself off, and then it goes straight into reactor energy output, which is what we're seeing through here. And so it's important that we then cater for the static energy use that we have in through this side, and then actually power this up. So as soon as we start to do any sort of movement, bang, in we go. Now you can see there that we can go at really slow speed, like at 10, where we don't use any energy. So if we do run out of fuel, it means that we can't run the reactor, which means we can only really use static energy use, which means that we then basically are in this slow mode, and we also have this as a hyperspeed as well, which is also can be done if we run out of fuel, but it's very, very much diminished in comparison to the full speed that we have in through there. You can see there that the total of weapons, engines, and static is really quite low. So it's actually only using like a very small amount in through this side, which gives us an excess of 99.6 is what it's saying down through the bottom there. It does say that the excess energy output is 122 in there, which doesn't seem right. So I think that this one is actually showing the excess energy output of 99.6 would be the one that would be the most viable, I guess, in through that sort of sense, once we're actually just trying to use the engines and or weapons. Back across on this other one, we actually have this one has to, when we go into hyperspace, we still have the static energy use because we have to keep everything still powered up. but we then have the hyperdrive as well that sort of kicks in, and that uses a lot of energy. So the static energy usage in through here is 26. The hyperdrive energy use is 61. So we add those two together, which means that we have a usage of, 87. So at the moment, our energy reactor output is 148 because we've got two of them. But if we only had one of them, we would only, I don't think, actually, I haven't designed this. I'm just going to go back and exit. What we're going to do is we're going to, I'll copy as new, and then we'll do the upgrade manually. So let's just copy this one as new. This is going to be the Heavy Escort version 2. I can now edit this. If I go into the fission reactor and right-click on that one, I'm now under with my hyperdrive, and my hyperdrive is now going to do a percentage of the full 400K speed that it does have through hyperspace. So it means that it's slow through hyperspace, but I've got more than enough here for like when I'm actually in a system. So if I was happy with slow hyperspeeds, that would be okay. I could actually make use of that. That would actually do, but it's not what we want. So the whole reason we went and got the new, where is it? Back up here? No, it's not that one. I can filter by different things, but it should be in here somewhere. Quantum reactor, there it is there. What are we doing it by name? Okay, we want to do this one by category. It still sort of slot things around a little bit, but these are the areas. The color coding is the color coding that we see in through this side. So I'll just go down to the quantum reactor, back in through there. So if I click on that one, and then hover over the fission reactor, you can sort of see there the difference between the two. So the fission reactor is on the left, and the quantum reactor is on the right. So the size goes lower for the quantum reactor. We have the component ion defense is actually more for which means that ion weaponry will have a harder time disabling the reactor. Reactor energy output goes from 74 to 120, so we get plus 46, which is going to be just enormous. That really is why we got this particular reactor. And then we have the reactor storage capacity, like it's gone up by 104. The only real negative is the efficiency, the very bottom line there, where it says fuel to energy ratio of 1.8 per thousand to 2.3. So we do go through the fuel a lot more with this reactor, but I'm happy to sort of with that trade-off. I can go for a different reactor that's actually got better efficiency, but just not quite as good energy output. But it's the energy output I'm really interested in, because I want to only have one reactor on all of these early ships, like the escorts, the frigates, and potentially also the destroyers. So with that one done, we're just going to go and right-click to get rid of it, and we've still got this one now selected. We're just going to go and left-click and add it in somewhere. So that's now been placed into the general area of the ship. And so when we look at that one, this now covers still everything. We've got less total output. The output is now 120 rather than 148, but we've only got one, which means that we've now saved ourselves a lot of space. We've got a lot of space we can do other things with now. So that's the first step. The next thing I'm interested in doing is, because we've got the heavy railgun and the iron cannon, this is really designed for interaction with other ships. So let's go and add in a assault pod, which, you know what that's going to do in through here. If I just go and click on that one, the assault pod is going to give me an assault strength of 75, which is not really a hell of a lot, to be honest. Boarding range of 1,000. So it's more, I'm sort of more thinking like there may come times when we can actually use like little fleets to actually try to then take over other ships, but it's not very strong. The assault pod speed is 250, its shield penetration is 50, launch rate is 20 seconds, and the component ion defense is 1. But really, it will also help protect the ships our own ship a little bit as well. So let's just go and grab that, throw that into one of the other slots. So we now have the where did it go? Did it go in somewhere? I think it did. Assault pod. I might have got the medical center. I didn't want that. There we go. Assault pad. Yeah, so I put a medical center in there, which I didn't mean to do. So the assault pod is now on the ship, and we've still got a fair bit of space in through here. So is there other things we want to be getting? Now we've got the different sorts of engines as well that we actually have available to us. We've got the Acceleros engine. If we have a look and just do a bit of an analysis just to see which one of these engines we want to have, one thing I hope that they do add in is to see what level of tech that you actually had. Now I can go and sort by tech level, so I can actually go this way to see what I've actually got available at this point in time and just see where the first one of those does come in. But quite often these will all be early sort of things. Now, if you can see there, the proton engine technically is way down over here. Does that mean that the acceleros and quantum engines came in afterwards? The only real way of telling that is to close this one. I'll just save an exit because we don't actually have any of these, so we'll just save an exit where we are and close that one down. So I hope that they bring this in so you can sort of see what tech level the different things were as well. That would be really, really handy. If we just go back across, go across to engines, where's that? Engines in through this side, and we have a look in through here. So the proton ionization was the proton engine. Then we have the efficient energy conversion, which gives us the quantum engine. So this one actually uses, the maximum thrust is 18.15, so it's not very fast, but it's sort of going to be using less fuel, I guess, or less energy. So that's that's a less energy one, the quantum engine. This one here has got 18315. This is the proton engine version 2. So that one is the 18150. This is 18. So it's a very minimal difference in through there. But you can see that all of those. So the acceleros, which is actually more about the high volume thrust, which makes it faster, a lot faster, is this one through here. But they're all on the same tech level as such. So if we just exit research, go back in and edit our designs, go into our new escort back in through this side, and then just go and edit. So we're still actually sort of working on this one. The acceleros engines is the one that I do want, so I'm actually happy with that. And the Swift vector is actually unique to us as well. But again, I wish there was more information we could see with these. So this one is going to, if we have actually I'll just do it by category again, just so we can sort of see it. So these were the different ones, like the proton engine was sort of middle of the road. If I hover over that one, we can see there that the maximum thrust goes up by a lot more. The maximum energy usage is up by 0.2 per second, which means we're going to go through more fuel. And the cruise thrust is actually a lot more as well. So we have a much higher speed overall if we make use of the acceleros engines. I can, if I wanted to, just sort of get rid of those and just see as I go through these then sort of diminish off. But if I then go and throw the proton engine in, or if the quantum engine is the slowest but the most fuel efficient, I can actually just go and grab that and put 3 of those in if I wanted to and see what it does. So my speed is marginally shorter, but really these are designed to get in as fast as they possibly can. So let's just get rid of the quantums and throw in the acceleros. So that's what we do want. But again, I wish there was a way to sort of see the information before you go too far with this. We have one recommendation. You've reached the maximum limit of 4 engines for this hull type. I've got a funny feeling that's a bug because I think that the heavies do have use of 5, which means that I should be able to go and grab another. Unless there's like an amount where I could get like 3 Swift vectors. And these are just turning vectors, really. These are just they just assist a little bit. They're not really an engine as such. Anyway, we'll leave that where that is because they don't give actual thrust or very limited thrust to the actual ship itself. But this one does take us up to a much higher, movement ship. So we haven't really done anything with that one through there. As far as everything else, let's just go and click on something and then unclick it so we don't have anything selected. Heavy armor and Corvidian shields I'm happy with. I wouldn't mind maybe getting the next level of shielding. That would actually be good to get. The short-range sensor array down through here as well. I'm happy enough with that one. The heavy railgun, the iron cannon, the sentinel multi-beam defense. I've still got a fair bit of space in here. Is there anything else we want in here? Now I can get the Corvidian shields. I can't add any more than those. I really have to just go back into these areas and sort of see, is there anything else we want to have in here? We've got enough crew so that everything's fine through that side. Damage control unit, which we don't have actually. That's interesting. Damage control unit is going to cost me 10. That might be a good thing to get. We do have the energy collector. Like if I got rid of the energy collector, then it would sort of then throw all this stuff out of whack. Because we do want it to just be able to sit in space and not use up energy, not use up fuel. There's nothing much in there that I really want to be. Is there anything else further down? I'm happy with the what we have in through here, unless I went with 2 railguns. Now this thing's only size 12. The railgun is size 40, which is not going to be enough. Won't have enough space. Again, sorry about the noise, guys. Yeah, don't know. Oh, hang on. We really need to have this ion shield on board as well. So I'm just going to throw that in there. That then takes us up to just under. This is exactly what I wanted. Actually, the ion shield was why I wanted to get rid of the quantum reactors, just so we can sort of get like the assault pods, ion shields, and these sorts of things in there. We're under where we need to be. Everything else is looking good through there. We still have one recommendation that we've reached the maximum limit of 4 engines for this ship hull, which I think it says 5 in the actual in the tech, but it doesn't matter. And we've reduced the size a little bit because we've got the weight up of the actual ship, or the mass of the ship up a little bit in through there as well. So that's good. We've actually got this one now sort of ready to go. We can then go and have a look and see, okay, engagement range for the basic design for this one will be same system. I can then go and change same location nearby, which means it goes into other systems. So I can actually have like a group of ships that will station at one place but then still react in space. Engage when attacked means it just stays where it actually is. Same location means it's going to be close to the same planetary body and won't move off. But same system I'm happy with. The attack stance against weaker targets is aggressive, neutral against stronger targets, retreat when 20% of non-defense components are damaged. Yeah, I think for an escort, that's reasonable. Invade colonies immediately, which they won't really be doing, and roll within the fleet. This will be an attack roll, which I'm happy with. Everything else is looking good there. So we'll save and exit. That is our new heavy escort, and we will be wanting to get all of our escorts up, like retrofitted to this new design. What I will do is just double check that, like if we go to all the active designs, I just want to make sure that we don't have any other escorts. Now we do actually have... That one there is still actually active, which I don't want that to be active anymore. There's 22 of those, the heavy escort. Because I copied as new, that stays active. So I need to make sure that that doesn't become active anymore. And I've got 3 destroyer designs in through there as well. I've got to be careful with these as well. It's only the ones that I'm actually designing myself that I need to be careful of. So what I think I'll do is I might design the frigates and the destroyers now that we've got this one as well. We've run out of time in this episode. So I'll just go through and just double check. Now, yeah, you can see the shape. This is the shape that we need to be. These are destroyers that we found. So I don't want to make them obsolete. They're fine where they are. These are retrofit manually because they have been discovered. And so I'm just going to leave them alone and not have them, like I'm going to keep them as active. It's really this one here, this destroyer. I do want to redesign this. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next episode.